to write a track that has a great chord progression? Then keep watching. Hi, I'm Toni Crichton, and welcome to Tonic, the starting point of all things music. So to the producers out there, do you want to know how to get started on writing a track? Then stay tuned. We're going to talk about how to work out a simple chord progression today. I'm going to take you step by step through it. I've had the privilege of working with a number of talented DJs and producers over the years, and today you're not just talking to me, but you're talking to a DJ producer who's got his own music label, has been rocking audiences for years, and is producing his own tracks. Welcome to my good friend, Dean Fuel. Dean is a DJ producer who's taking his music seriously. And part of that journey was taking some piano lessons with me. So today, we're going to be sharing some piano lesson tips that had an impact on his producing so that they can help you too. You can check out Dean's details in the links below. If you're keen to join us today, please like my channel and please press that little bell so you get notified with some music tips for producers. Let's get right in. Here's Dean with how one of our lessons impacted how he started writing his tracks.
Hey, what's up? This is Dean Fuel, DJ and producer based in Cape Town. I've been DJing for about nearly 20 years and making my own music for about 10 years. Obviously, for me, it was an evolution from DJing into wanting to be a producer. And I took a few courses. I did a sound engineering course, learned a little bit of Pro Tools, a little bit on Cubase. Then I did a course in Ableton and found this was the software for me and have been using it ever since to make my music. And a few years back, I remember seeing an advert for a piano course for adults. And I decided, hey, this looks like a good idea. And I joined up for it and very quickly realized that if I wanted to make better music, if I wanted to make great music, I needed to actually understand the music more than anything else. Being a DJ, the beats, the rhythms, those things came naturally to me, but the music actually required a bit more attention. So one of the piano lessons that I had with my piano teacher was expanding on notes, scales, and chords. And the chord thing really hit home because obviously, chords can be the basis for starting a lot of great pieces of music. My dad used to play in a band, and he always used to say that any great rock song was just a combination of 3 chords. There's some famous examples of like how 4 chords come together to write a lot of the world's great pop songs. And so, yeah, I just expanded on this idea of using chords to write a track rather than starting with the beats, which is usually where I started as coming from a DJing background. That's usually how I started my tracks. So specifically with the song Loving Me Wrong, which I'm going to show you guys in a little bit, I started with a chord progression and expanded on that, adding the beats and the bass line and those elements in only at a later stage. And that track became Loving Me Wrong, which got released, got signed to Universal, got playlisted on local radio, and I got to play it out as a DJ many times, and it actually turned out to be a pretty cool track. So yeah, that's the story.
So let's dive right in. Here's a simple step-by-step formula to choose a basic chord progression that takes all the stress out of knowing where to begin. Step 1. Decide on your key. For the purpose of this video, let's work in A minor, just because I like A minor. Write out all the degrees of that scale: A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. You can use the sharp if you're writing in the harmonic minor, or just leave it as G if you're writing in A natural minor and ending on A. So now, let's see this scale as a journey, starting at home, the tonic, and going on an adventure, but coming back home to the tonic. Now, depending on where you are in that scale, you'll hear that certain notes create a certain effect. Some are safe sounding notes and others create a dissonance. Let's have a listen. A to B, 1 to 2, is full of tension. So we know that by playing seconds, we are creating tension and a certain level of anxiety. As I move further away, there is less tension until I finally reach the fifth, which is the dominant note. And if I stick here, I'm feeling pretty safe, like I'm pretty much still at home. Now, if we look at a chord based on the first degree of the scale, it would include 1, 3, and 5, the dominant. And it's a pretty secure sounding chord. Not much is happening. Keep moving though. Listen to how 6 sounds. And now 7th. Yes, you can hear that the 7th note is very dissonant. It's called the leading note, and you can totally hear that it's wanting to lead you back home to the tonic. So already, by playing just the scale, you've got a good sense of a journey in music, and that by moving to certain notes, you're creating a sense of going somewhere, perhaps some tension, and then ultimately coming home. Unless, of course, you want to leave your listener hanging and waiting for a resolution that might not come. So, on to step 4. We're now going to build a simple chord on each of these notes. For simplicity's sake, we can stick to 1, 3, 5, or if you're keen to add something special, add the 7th or the 2nd or the 9th. Play around with what sounds resonate best with you. Step 5. So right there in front of you are some potential options of some very simple chords that you have available to you to now compose your own journey. So how many chords do you choose? Willie Nelson said, 3 chords and the truth. That's what a country song is. Now, we're not writing country music, and if you look at most pop music today, you'll notice that all the great hits are based on 4 chords. I'm a massive fan of the 4-chord song by the Axis of Awesome. You can check out their link below. It's a simple way of showing that in truth, if you want to write a hit, that's all you need. 4 chords. So let's start there. Step 6. You can pretty much start anywhere, but for the purpose of today's video, let's start at the beginning, at our home note, the tonic. We have 1, 3, 5 on A. If this is making sense so far, write tonic in the comments below. So, how do we know where to go from there? Step 7. In order to find a chord that you know will sound good, and we're basing this on maths now, not even your ear, find another chord in the scale that shares 2 or more notes in common. So we can see that we have some options. I'm going to pick one, but take your time and see what works for you. There's never one right way. I've chosen chord 3. Step 8. Write in your next chord and repeat step 7. Which next chord has more than 2 notes in common? I've chosen chord 5. And for step 9, we go back home to the tonic so that we're only using 4 chords. There you have it, folks. The 9 steps to choosing a simple chord progression. But wait, there's more. Step 10 and the bonus part. Play around with these chords. In root position, they're going to potentially sound pretty boring. So invert them, arpeggiate them. This is usually where I go into the importance of good voicing, and I'll cover that in my next video. But for now, play around with how you like these chords to sound and what makes the transition from one chord into another sound seamless. That's it. How to write a basic chord progression. Now, just a matter of writing a brilliant melody and a riff that will turn your progression into that hit track. Let's have a look and see what Dean did.
Hey Toni, shot for joining me here today.
Good to be here, from the piano to the studio.
Absolutely, and it's also good to see a familiar face sort of as we're coming out of lockdown, finally. But yeah, so just obviously chatting through using your lesson of chords and as a producer writing a track. The first thing that we did, that I did here, was to pick a chord, not a chord, the root. Pick the key.
And I see you've chosen our A minor.
Yes, which is very, very good choice, and lucky in this situation, but it worked. Obviously, a lot of dance tracks are written in minors. It's a good way to start, and for me, A minor was also an easy way to start because it's very close to C major, so it was a fairly simple starting point.
That's great, and you've started on the tonic for your first chord, which is great. 1, 135 ACE, fantastic.
Yes.
And then you'll also see that Dean's added in 2 additional A's, one at the top and one at the bottom. Some extra frequency ranges, just adding something.
Correct, and it fills the sound spectrum nicely. When you play them all together, you get that sort of effect, which it sounds like this.
Beautiful sounding chord.
Yep, that's it. And then from there, I basically worked on a 4-chord arrangement, each kind of repeating with a similar time frame, which sounds like this. Going for quite an emotive feel.
Yeah.
And a sort of an uplifting
And we can
endpoint.
actually hear over there, we've got your leading note, your G sharp, taking you back to the tonic. Fantastic. There's your
Right
dissonance
there.
right there.
So the dissonance in this obviously came at the end of the chord
Yes.
pattern.
To lead you back home.
And coming back home was going back to that starting chord. So this is your...
It's great. And what's also great here, you haven't actually followed my formula to the T. You're not one to listen in lessons.
I sort of listened, you know.
Sort of listen.
Yeah.
But what's great
But,
here is that this is the thing with music. So many rules, but we break them. And ultimately, it's what sounds good to you.
Yeah, exactly that. And so when I had these chords together as a repeating pattern, it worked for me. It sounded good. I was able to layer extra sounds like pads on top of that. I could take the bass, add on top of that. And together that all just really worked. And as soon as I was able to add the other elements...
4 chords.
And there it is. I mean, that's basically the track, you know. And yeah, so very happy how it all turned out. The song ended up getting signed, released, did pretty well, and literally, as a producer, I can safely say it all started with the basics of writing some chords.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Dean.
My pleasure. Thank you for coming. Hopefully we're definitely going to be doing some more stuff in the future.
Yes, we can start chatting about voicing and layering and how you took those basic chords and turned them into something magical.
Bonus round.
Bonus round.
Cool. Thanks so much, Toni.
Please let me know what you thought, and I'd love for you to press that subscribe button so you can join me for more. And share this if you know someone who could benefit from 10 simple steps to find a chord progression. Are you going to try this formula? Yes or no? Leave me a comment below, and I'd love to hear from you. Join me on Instagram, find me on my website, and sign up for my piano courses. Links to all my social platforms are in the description below, and I look forward to hearing from you. If you're serious about using the piano to help your producing, then click on the link to my Piano 101 for Producers on Udemy. I'll be thrilled to get you playing. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.